Welcome, everybody, to the Mighty Nerd Podcast with special guest Micah 10. Say hello, Micah. Fantastic. All right. Today, it is me, Solid Snarf, and FistTruck. Say
Hello.
hi, Fist. And Tony is currently in the middle of a move, so he has no time for our shenanigans. But he will return. He will return. Today, we got two games. We got Hotline Miami 1 and Hotline Miami 2.
Two very different games.
Two very different games. Fist took Hotline Miami 2 and I took Hotline Miami 1 this week just so we can split up the work. It only took us 2 days to get through 'em.
Yeah, the games are really short, so it's not that big of a deal.
Hotline Miami 1. I think that came out in 2012. Yeah, October 23rd, 2012. The developer was Denton Games, which I only know them from Hotline Miami 1 too.
Yeah, I don't know if they did anything else.
Yeah, so apparently the story between that is it's two main people.
I assume, I'm just taking a guess that the name of the developer thing just their names combined.
Jonathan Soderstrom and Dennis Whedon.
Jonathan.
Yeah, Denison.
Yeah. Because I just assumed because the logo is like Two-Face or something, and I'm like, I assume it's like two guys, and they just split up combine their names together.
Looking at it, it has to be, right?
Yeah.
So these two guys, I don't even know where they're from. They're from some other country. The one of them is a programmer, the other one is the artist. They linked up because I think I should probably look this up. Either Dennis or Jonathan was in a band, and one of them was publishing on Newgrounds that they're like doing game after game.
Oof.
Jonathan is the programmer, so he was putting up a bunch of games on Newgrounds, and Dennis found him and was like, "Hey, do you want to make a game, featuring our band?" And they ended up working together on that, and the programmer Jonathan was like, I'll program it, but you got to do the art because I just don't want to take on that much work. Between the both of them, they learned to make a game.
Yeah. It's that. If you ever need to hear stories about like, oh man, how do I get into it? It's like, yeah, like pretty much anything else. You just do it. That's it.
Just do it. They kept on working together. And I think the way Hotline Miami came about was Dennis, which is the musician, was looking through a bunch of old games that Jonathan was making. Like, he had half-made games and all that. And he found the top-down concept of like breaking through doors and shooting people and using melee and stuff. And he was like, yo, make a game out of this. We should definitely make a game out of this. And they got like a working demo up. And somehow, that's it. Just somehow. Devolver got it.
Yeah, I think Devolver's the kind of company that keeps it, like nose to the ground or something like that.
I guess. Because
where they always like trying, like they're always scoping out. I think they're always scoping out like hot indie shit. Like that's kind of what they do.
But it's like these, if you look at the credits for the company, it's like there's nothing before and nothing after Hotline Miami. It's just that. So it's just two guys, working on stuff in a room. So I think it was like a friend of a friend, one of their friends got a hold of it and then sent it to one of their friends who was like involved with Devolver or something. And then they got the call from Devolver. Hey, can you like make this into a full thing? Can you make this into a bigger thing? And they're like, hell yeah, why not? Yeah. So I mean, it was just imagine the amount of pressure it goes from like making your own stuff, uploading for free on the internet to being contacted by like a big ass publisher.
Yeah,
like
having
that.
a budget.
Yeah, having a budget.
Having a budget and shit, and then on top of that, the game comes out and like everyone loves it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So they're like really active. Even when it came out, they were like really active in the Steam. What do you call those chat rooms?
Community
community chats,
like
right?
forums and stuff.
Yeah, community forums. And that changed with number 2, and we'll go over that once we go over number 2. But yeah, they just dudes making games. Very good game, and yeah. So what it is, it's a top-down shooter, top-down.
Yeah, like a twin stick shooter. It's like a twin stick shooter. Yeah.
But you use melee weapons. So if you go into a room, you see a dude. I wouldn't say sneak up behind him because they'll anytime
they'll know.
Yeah, they'll always know when you're in line of sight most of the time. So you need to like use cover, and you can see into the next room before you get into it, so you can plan out your attack. And like you die in one hit, and everything moves really fast when things start moving. So you can be like behind a corner, ready to breach a room, and nobody's messing with you there. The enemies have a certain predictable pathing pattern. So and then once you break into the room, they're like, "What was that noise?" And then they just bum rush you, really super fast. So you have to be really, I guess, proactive in the way you enter a room. Just go straight for the dudes.
Yeah, like you have to commit. You have to commit to things. You can't just like go because that's usually what kills you. If you can like Twitch react in this game, like props to you, because I definitely can't. Like if I see a bullet coming, the bullet will hit me before I even see it coming. You register that it's happening. Yeah.
Oh, they're Swedish. I'm just saw that.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, they get a bunch of money from Devolver, and music in the game. I like the story of the music. It's like the programmer had a bunch of music on his computer, and he just threw it in there, and it was like, oh, that fits. That's the type of mood they were going for, like an 80s vibe. And then they contacted the dude that made that music and a bunch of other people, and was like, hey, can we get this music? And they were like, no, but I'll make music for you. Yeah.
But I want to work it out because the soundtrack is like,
top.
And both of them, it's fucking like insanely good.
like number 1, the music during the game is awesome. I can't find myself listening to number 1's music on its own, like when I'm doing stuff. But number 2, I can listen to a lot of the music just as its own individual thing, like not even in the game.
Yeah, that song that plays in the first one, the one that played in the police station.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah,
like
that
I could
one's
listen
tight.
to outside of the game. That one's really good.
But like, they have the. I listen to that over and over again is without doing something, without having it in the context of a level is mind numbing.
I'm ready to start eating pain.
Yeah. So anything else on the gameplay?
Yeah. But like, I don't know if we want to get to Hotline Miami 2 yet. Do you want me to go into that? And
we'll talk about like the pros and cons of the gameplay, but this is like the overview of the gameplay. Am I missing anything?
No, that's pretty much it.
You can throw weapons. Like when you go over a weapon, you pretty much throw your weapon and pick up the next one when you run out of ammo, and you can use that to knock people down and then execute them when it's bloody. It's bloody.
Yeah. Game. Oh yeah, it's a very bloody game. I would say it's like a top-down twin stick version of like Super Hot before Super Hot came out.
Yeah.
And also without the ability to slow down time. But like when essentially the loop, the gameplay loop is a lot of trial and error. Because the games themselves are not long at all. but essentially it just comes from repeating and repeating, because you have to essentially, as you're tackling a floor, you essentially get into a flow of like, all right, I'm gonna go into the room, I'm like, punch this guy, pick up his weapon, throw it at the other guy, fucking smash this dude's face into the ground, pick up the other guy's weapon, go into the room, throw the fucking thing at him, and he drops a gun, I pick it up, I shoot the guy on the right. It's you just eventually, as you keep doing it, you get into those motions to varying degrees of success. That's kind of like the core gameplay loop.
You're definitely dying in this game. First playthrough. If you
I would assume, I haven't seen it, but I assume like super high level gameplay of this looks like some mega cracked Adderall induced John Wick nightmare. Yeah, like that's what I imagine what that looks like. That's not us.
Yeah, I can't like.
We got the credits to roll. That was the benchmark.
Yeah, there are certain situations where I was like, "There's no way that." This could
I don't
be
know how I
could
press forward. Yeah, and like I don't know how like some rooms kind of like, fuck, this would be getting like critiquing the gameplay, but there are some rooms where like I couldn't quite see the vision on how I would make it through this room by pressing forward rather than falling back. But that's a different, like, I don't want to touch on that yet.
Yeah,
because that's like we're getting into critiques at that point, or I am, and cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, we'll when we get to number 2. So we'll start with number 1. We'll go not chronologically, because
it's all over the place.
It's all over the place. So number 1 takes place in Miami, like 1985-ish, but like in a fake Miami where
alternate reality.
Where Russians, where the Soviet Union like nuked San Francisco or something, and they have like a Russian. I think it's called the Russo-American Union or something. So you're just playing this dude. His name, he doesn't have a name. I think just the community calls him Jacket, because he wears like a yellow jacket or green jacket.
Yeah, like when they put him in Payday 2, he was Jacket.
Yeah, Jacket. Just you start out the game. There's a small tutorial. And then you're put in this room with like these dudes with 3 masks just telling you cryptic shit in the cutscene. And then you go into your apartment, you answer the phone. It says, hey, go to this place. You go to this place and you start killing people. And it's like,
the way it does is like, oh, hey, there's a package to pick up at like, fucking Northwest 167th Street, or like, or, your flowers are ready at like 32nd Street or some shit. And it's like all code for kill everybody inside there. There are no flowers.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how the levels play out over and over again. In between each level, you have like a little bit of downtime scenario. So like after the first level, you go to a convenience store, and you go pick up a bag of chips. So the way it's presented to you is that, oh, you go do this mission. You go to the convenience store. You see this guy. His face shows up. It's a guy with a red beard, red hair, glasses. And he's like being very nice to you. And he says, hey, take this on the house. And like you go pick up a bag of chips. You go home. And then you do the next mission. You kill everybody. You go there. You have downtime. And then you go to, I think the next place is like a movie store. You go to the clerk. It's the same dude. Red beard, glasses. Same dude working there. And you're like, okay, I'll pick up a movie. And then next mission, kill, downtime, and it's you go to a bar, and the bartender there is the same dude, red beard, red hair, glasses. So you're like, oh, this guy has a lot of jobs. That's crazy. Because it's the same dude, or they don't know how to draw another character.
Different faces.
As you progress, things start getting weirder and weirder, right? Your screen starts glitching from time to time on the downtimes. And sometimes you see like a dead body or something, and the dead body's not really there. So yeah. Or the red dude is a different person, or he's not there, or he's lying dead or something. Just like you begin to realize that seeing the story through this guy, He is, I think the term is a unreliable witness to the
Or
story.
narrator.
Yeah,
going on,
unreliable narrator. Like
Mm-hmm.
what he's seeing is not real, or you don't know what is real or what's not. And that's the point they're trying to get across. And again, it's real. It's a real arcadey game, so there's not like a lot of story. It's just the in between stuff, and you gotta pull what you can from the levels. As you go through the levels, you see people that are dressed similarly to you. Oh, and you wear different masks to cover your identity. So going through the missions, you find like people that are dressed like you with different masks. So you're under the assumption that you're not the only one getting these phone calls. Like a lot of people are getting these phone calls to go and wipe out these areas. Eventually you get like an emergency call in the mission, and he's like, hey, we have an emergency. We have a rogue something at this place. So you go there. That place is messed up already. Like somebody already been through there, and you face this guy in a pink shirt and a biker helmet. And you win. You kill him, which we'll revisit later because again, it's not chronologically told. So damn. All right. And then eventually you get killed by a dude, by some dude. And then after you get killed, you find out that you've been in a coma for like the past 2-3 weeks. And, like everything that you've been doing throughout the game is what you've been remembering, not exactly what has been happening, but what you remember happening. You're trying to get yourself out of the coma or something. You eventually get yourself out of the coma and you find the guy that shot you and he killed your girlfriend. And he tells you that, you know, everybody's receiving these phone calls. He's one of them, that he was told to kill you. And then you go, you shoot up a police station because they found the guy that shot you. You interrogate him, and then you take files from the police station. They point to like a Russian mob, and you go take out the Russian mobsters, which fucking that last level was the last. All right, so you get to the last room, and you go in there without any weapons, right? And 2 panthers attack you. You got to pick up a trophy, beat the panthers, and then an assassin katana lady, super fast, comes straight at you, starts throwing knives at you. You got to take cover, and you got to beat her up. And then this guy takes out 2 machine guns and starts shooting at you. So you got to maneuver around the room, pick up knives in the spot where you kill the lady, maneuver around the room, get to cover. And well, I was definitely doing it wrong. Because I didn't.
You could see that on FistTruck TV eventually.
Fucking. So I was hiding behind the statue. And
she went to throw knives
the
at you.
the lady was throwing knives through the statue. So I was like, that's not a cover spot. So that was my mindset when I was facing the guy with the gun. The guy with the gun kept on mowing me down because I couldn't get around him because he was doing full auto fire and following me around. So I couldn't get past the bullets. And then Fist was watching me. So he was like, hey, use the statues. I'm like, I can't because the knife lady threw knives through the cover. But I guess bullets don't go through cover and knives do.
Like the deduction, what I deduced was that she was standing when she threw the knives at you, and this guy's firing from a seated position. So maybe that's it.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I don't know. That's really the difference there. But whatever it is, you could take cover when you're getting shot at, but not when you're getting knifed at.
Yeah. So you kill the final boss, or the final boss kills himself. He says, I don't want to give you the satisfaction. And then you kill the main mob boss afterwards, and then he throws a photo to the wind and lights up a cigarette, and then the game ends. Credits roll, but the credits stop rolling, and then you go back in time and you start playing as the biker that you killed in the pink suit and the biker helmet. So that's when like you going through the game, your guy has no personality, right? He's just a dude. He's a means to an end, right? For you getting into the level, for you playing the level and getting out of the level. You start playing as the biker, and the biker is like actually questioning, like he's getting threatened to kill all these people over the phone. And he's like, I'm out. I'm done with this. So that's when you start trying to unravel what's really going on. And that only comes out like if you pick up secret pickups to solve a puzzle throughout the whole game. There's like secret collectibles. The fight between Jacket and the pink dude, biker, turns out differently. The biker doesn't die. He just gets knocked out. And eventually, you find out the source of the telephone calls. It's these two janitors that you see periodically through the story. Very ominous. And if you find all the collectibles, you find the puzzle, which is a password to the computer in the janitor's lair. And then the biker finds out that. So that's when story comes in. All at once, just in one dialogue. It's during the Soviet American War or something, that San Francisco was nuked, and then there was a peace treaty between Soviet Union and America that had an influx of Russian immigrants, and eventually the mob took over. And there's a pro-American group called the 50 Gifts, 50 something shit.
I do not know.
50 something.
Yeah.
That is like an anti-war, pro-American, anti-violence group, but like they secretly set up all these call centers and started, finding old war veterans to blackmail them and kill all these mob groups. And then you have a choice at the end whether to kill the janitors or not. And then biker rides off in the sunset, and that's the end of Hotline Miami.
Ooh.
Yep. Remember everything that I just said, because Hotline Miami 2 gives full context to everything. It's very straightforward in Hotline Miami 1, and all the stuff in Hotline Miami 1 starts to make sense once you play Hotline Miami 2.
Yeah, by the end of Hotline Miami 2, I will say.
Yeah.
Because when you kind of first do it, you're like, what is going on?
What is going on?
Like Hotline Miami 2 story is told in a very, disjointed manner, I guess. Is
right.
the way to
Non-linear.
say. I mean, it's like, it's told out of order. But I played it, and I was just like, what's happening? Like at first, you see the fucking movie thing is happening, and then it's like, wait, so is this like not real, or like is this more like some dude just hallucinating some shit or something?
Yeah, you start out as playing like a dude in a pig mask, and he's killing a bunch of things, and at the end of it, it's like a movie set, and he dies or something.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna leave you to tell this story too, because like, even though I played through it and I kind of followed it, I was still like, I don't, someone's like, hey, like somewhere to ask me, hey, how was the story in Hotline Miami 2? I'm like, it was interesting. What happened in it? It was interesting. Well, I know it's just that everyone got turned into ash at the end. Pretty much that's about it.
So the number 2, as opposed to number 1, they're like really focused on story stuff. And even when they in the interview that I was watching, it was an interview by No Clip.
Yeah, No Clip. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're really good. They're like, oh, we were really proud of the amount of story that we brought into number 2. And reference, we were really active in the Steam forum community. When number 2 came out,
do we want to do that after you talk about the story? Because that's a gameplay thing.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was saying, like, go through the story first. And then when we talk about Hotline Miami 2's gameplay, that's when that conversation come in, because it's very relevant to that.
Okay.
Because I'm going to complain about the same shit as the thing.
All right. Shit. Okay. All right. So we'll go over the story for number 2. You'll hear me rambling on. Story 2. You start out. Dude is in a movie. He's making a movie. It's about your character number 1, right? It's about the guy that went on the murderous rampage of the mob bosses and all that, but he's wearing a pig outfit, and he's, gross looking. So it's like they're not telling the real story. They're playing an amped up version.
Yeah,
and he's the villain of the story, right?
There's some implied unstomped grapes.
Yeah. The actor that chose to play it, you find out he's actually a sicko and is living vicariously through the role. But nothing really comes of that because he gets killed on set.
Yeah.
I think you play as him twice, right?
I think so. It's not something that really get, like, as far as I can remember or noticed, was something that was really like it's just a thing that happened. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. We got more important people to talk about. Like that's kind of how that came across.
Let me pull up the characters. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember I know the story in order. I just don't remember the levels on how you played them.
Yeah, because it's very, like, even within one act, you might play as different people, because like some acts, like, they'll do, and I'm kind of like, I guess I'm just gonna spark notes it, but then feel free to elaborate. Where, like, you play as the movie thing, but then you also play as a new group, an actual group of people in masks.
Yeah. So
who I guess are trying to like emulate what Jacket did.
They're
like,
called the fans. So there's like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They're like, they revere them, I guess.
Yeah, so what they have, like, their own home base, and they set up a bunch of phones, like a shit ton of phones, hoping to get a call from the people to be sent on a mission.
Do things, yeah. That's how they wind up doing their own.
Yeah, while they're waiting, they're just they find their own targets, which is like they're trying to look for Russian mafia, they're trying to look for Colombian
like
mafia, drug dealers.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Because they're like, oh, this guy actually took out the mob, back then. Like, we want to be vigilantes too. That comes into play later. So you playing these, and they all have different abilities and stuff.
Yeah, but that's a gameplay thing.
Yeah.
Once again, there's also, you play as like, I think you play as like a Russian hitman.
Yeah.
Too.
So.
Yeah.
The son of the Russian mob boss that you killed in number 1 is trying to regroup.
Yeah, because you find out that essentially what you did in the first game, you practically like ruined them, at least in Miami. So this guy's trying to bring him back.
Yeah, so he's trying to rebuild his father's empire to make him happy or something. And you play as the henchman, one of his henchmen, who, like, isn't really feeling it anymore because he's got a girlfriend and wants to retire. So he goes on like a final mission, finds a bag of money, takes it home, puts it under his bed, falls asleep, dreams about what he's going to do with it. Where he, overall, all these characters are getting like dreams of, the same dreams in number 1, where you're visited by a masked person.
The chicken.
The chicken.
Rooster. Yeah.
And he wakes up to find that his girlfriend's gone. She stole the money. So he's broke, and he left the mafia. So he's really sad. So he goes on a drug binge.
And then the fucking the gang shows up and kills them.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, hey, it's the guy. I see the guy that I played as in this room. And then at the end of the game, they just like, or not in the game, end of that level, they just like fucking murder him. Like, well, all right, goodbye.
So the henchman that you play as is drugged up, and they myrtleize him.
Yeah.
And then his phone goes off, and it's the Russian mob boss, and is like, "Hey, I know you quit, but I'm at this party to celebrate our victory because you play as the mob boss also, rebuilding his empire. He's taking on the Colombians and stealing their drugs and stealing their money, and he's calling his hitman friend, and they pick up the vigilantes pick up, and are like." They don't answer. And then he hangs up. So they think that they got a phone call from the patriotic group to go to this place and mess this place up. Where, dumb luck. They pick up the hitman's cell phone and find the mob boss, right? So they go to the place, fuck everything up, they're doing a good job, and then on the same level you start playing as the mob boss, and he's high on drugs because his best friend the hitman didn't pick up, and he's on a party, he's trying to celebrate, but nobody cares about him because he's not doing what he wants, or he's trying to live up to his father's expectations. He has a void to fill. I guess is the point they were trying to get across. So he's just downing pills. So he sees all these dudes in masks, but he sees them as like real beasts. So you go through the level fighting each of them. So there's a guy, one of the vigilantes has a bear mask. So you're actually fighting a big ass bear, as the mob boss. Two of the guys have duck heads, swan heads.
Yeah, it's like a fucking duck hydra or something.
Yeah, it's trippy.
Yeah.
And
that's actually that's at like way at the end of the game.
Yeah. But it's like all these stories are disjointed. Also,
yeah, it's
like
out of order.
Like all the stories meet at some point, but not all at one climax. Right? Each story has the ending to its own. So like these two stories are like inconsequential to everything else. So the mob boss just kills the guys you've been playing as throughout the whole game. A couple of guys you've been playing as the whole game. And then he walks off of a roof because he's so high he can't tell.
Yep.
And that's the end of those two branching stories, end in death. You'd think it's a Dark Souls game.
And there's like the investigator guy.
Oh, yeah.
He also kills one of them too.
What?
He kills one of those dudes too.
He kills one of those dudes?
Well, he kills, I think was it the bear guy? There was like one dude when they all got caught or something at I forget what, but there was one dude that was just like, yo man, I'm good. And then he just fucking like shoots him in the head.
I'm going off of memory, and you've just played the game. I haven't played the game in years.
The thing is, it is kind of all over the place, and some of it I'm gonna mess up. But like, really, when it comes, like, I know the private investigators, there's like a string of murders, like gruesome, gruesome murders where the murderer is leaving messages for the police. I did not follow that shit at all. I don't know if I missed a point there. If maybe the cop was actually the murderer or some shit. That was something.
So, go back in time. We'll tell the story of the writer, right? The
author dude. Yeah.
So the writer, you play as we'll play no. We'll talk about the commandos. Commandos are important.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
So that whole stuff, that is happening in current time, right? That is happening after the fact. Commandos go back before the first game. And you play as Redbeard. His name is the character's name is Beard. He has the red beard, glasses, haircut, red hair. It's the convenience store guy from number one, the bartender guy, the movie guy, the guy that you see in Downtime, the clerk, as Jacket, right? So, it's during the Soviet-American War. You're like, I don't know exactly where you are. You're in Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii. Yeah.
The Soviets took over Hawaii and attacked Hawaii. So you're a part of like a 5-man group to go and do missions. You're like a suicide squad of sorts. And you're like really, really good at your job. You go on missions, you kill Russians, and during your downtime, during the in-betweens in the story mode, your commanding officer gets promoted for you doing your job. He gets promotions, he gets cool stuff, and he gives it to you. And then you see him like kind of losing his mind. You see him, he killed a panther and tore off its head and wore it as a mask. And then everybody was like, I think you need sleep, bro. And he was like, yeah, I'm pretty tired. So eventually the commander's like, all right, last mission, fellas, and then you can go home. I'm so proud of you. You do your last mission. He says, guys, it's not your last mission. They called and they're sending you on a impossible mission. Some would say Mission Impossible. And you know what? We're definitely dying today. And I'm really sorry about this. I'm really, really sorry. Like the commander is like so over it. Like he knows he's fucking his men over and he's really torn up about it. Mission not impossible. You fuck shit up.
Well, except for one of them.
Oh yeah.
One of them gets fucking like blown in half.
Yeah.
The long ways.
So you go to like a power plant, right? And
Power plant, yeah.
The Russian sabotage to explode. You run out. One of your guys gets in the elevator, gets blown in half, and one of your guys stays to help him. He's presumed dead. Well, they don't know exactly. I'll bring that up later. You don't know exactly what happened to him. It's a fat guy that wears a bandana. Beard is the guy you play as, the red beard dude. You pick up one of your other fallen soldiers, the last guy.
Was that guy Jacket?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry if I cut to the chase there, but I was wondering, like, oh, that guy has not said a fucking word,
He
right?
doesn't say anything.
He doesn't say a word. You don't know how he looks like, no nothing. And he's just like, all right. He just fucking like thumbs up at the end or something. Like, was that? Oh, that was the dude. Yeah. That was the dude.
So, you save Jacket, bearded man. You take a photo together, which is presumably the interviewer that you play as later in the game. And you go home. And then Jacket is in Miami, and Beard settles down and is in a convenience store in San Francisco, and they talk back and forth. They call each other, and San Francisco gets nuked. Beard is dead. He is dead. So he's dead before number one. So the guy that you see in the convenience store going back to number one makes sense because you were put in a coma. That's not, you're dreaming of your CO that saved you during the war. And he's helping you, get your thoughts together to get out of the coma. That's why you see him constantly, and he's always, it's always good to see him. So the guy is grieving for his friend, understandably so. So that fills in a plot point in number one that doesn't make sense if you just played number one. The interviewer, right? So you play as a guy. Now we're in current time. After Hotline Miami 1. You play as this writer. He's trying to get the full story of what happened with the killings that Jacket did. He's trying to uncover, all the phone calls and stuff. No, I should have done Richter first. Shit. That would have made more sense.
Just keep going.
Okay. So the writer, starts collecting evidence. When you play as the writer, you can't kill anybody. You just go punching, unless you get hit, which then you go into a rage or something.
Not that I know of.
Yeah,
That's gameplay. Let's keep going.
Yeah, anyway. So you do non-lethal attacks with him, and he makes his way into the current Russian mob, and is like, "Hey, I want to know what happened 5 years ago." And he says, "You got 2 questions, or I'm going to kill you." So he finds out about the phone calls, and he finds out about someone else. Which, it's just it's his process of uncovering like what happened in number 1. You find out, downtime, he has a family, wife, kids, and then over time, because he's so obsessed with writing this book, he's neglecting them, so they leave him, so on and so forth. And he puts out like things in the newspaper saying, a finder fee for any information on such and such. So he actually meets up with somebody, with Biker from number 1. But he has his helmet off, so you might not recognize him, but it's a guy in a pink thing with a scar on his face. Okay. And the funny thing is, Biker is telling him the whole story, everything, right? Except for like who actually was behind it, names and stuff, and the writer doesn't fucking believe him at all, and says, "I'm not paying you a damn thing. That story is ridiculous." And then Biker tells him to go fuck off. So it's like, I just found that funny. What the fuck was his, Evan Wright? Yeah, that's his name. That's the writer's name. Okay. And that's where another story converges. The detective, you play as a detective sometime in the game, and the detective owes the writer a favor. Pretty much the short and sweet of the detective story is he's ultra violent, more violent than anyone should be. And then as you play as him, if you ever open up the trunk of your car, when you go into your car, you'll see a guy tied up in there.
Oh my God. I did not. Wow. Yeah. He was a killer. Got it. Yeah. Okay.
And you find out that the detective is a serial killer that everybody's been chasing around. And eventually you find out that, oh, you fucked up. You left physical evidence there. The police are after you. And then I forget exactly what happens. You probably know what happens.
Yeah, well, he kind of essentially just loses fucking mind in his own place. So that's kind of what it boils down to, I think. Like, I mean, there's this whole bit where it looks like you're killing a bunch of police, but I don't know if that was real. I don't think it was. It
might have been, because you have to go and collect the evidence again. Because I completely forgot that side of the story. Because it's like the detective, the story it's a story branch, but it's like he's a means to an end for the main story.
Yeah. Like his thing's kind of incidental. Like it's
and
like
then,
same with the actor dude.
Yeah, the actor dude is less consequential than anyone else. I don't know how his story intersects.
I think it's because I think he, I don't even know. It's because the one who shot him. I think that chick is something. I think she has something to do with stuff. I don't know. But keep going.
Yeah.
There's a fat guy.
There is a fat guy.
He was one of the military dudes, army dudes.
I think he is.
I'm pretty sure he was.
In my head canon, yes.
Yeah, because he definitely was. Like, okay. Because I mean, aside from having the same fucking head, except he's just wearing the thing in the past. He constantly, like, you play as him a handful of times, and then eventually gets to a point where he's like, "Yo, what the fuck, man? I keep getting these phone calls and like they're dicks." And then he goes to the fucking like Patriot place and he's like, "Hey, man, I've been getting these fucking phone calls. I got this idea that maybe we could do a thing kind of like that with the phone calls." And the guy's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's just like, "Gotcha. Okay, I see."
Yeah. So that guy, because when you play, supposedly, I mean, you can. I'm pretty sure. When you play as him in the past, He's a teacher. He's nice. He's fine. When you play as him in the present, he's an asshole.
he's a salty dude.
Yeah, he's a salty dude. Understandably so, because he saw his friend get dissected.
Yeah, and then they just went through all that trouble just to fucking lose anyway.
Yeah. So, he gets caught by the Russian mob and gets interrogated, tortured, doesn't give up that he knows the secret, which is the 50 Blessings is the Patriot group that he goes to. And then, yeah, he dies. Now, the other main character, Richter, right? Richter?
The son? The mom?
Yeah, the
boss
son.
Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. His mom, he's taking care of his mom.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
That's the one who says all the spills of beans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the end he does, yeah.
So, that guy, is in number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the guy that shoots you in the head. And you go to the police station and interrogate him. He's just a dude out of the city that is taking care of his sick mom. And that's the whole thing. He's just like unfortunate that he got involved in this. Because they gave him a phone call and said, you have to go and do this.
Yeah.
So he starts the killing and all that. And by the end of the story, he's in prison with Jacket, right? And Jacket's like, his story is over. He's done. And there's a prison riot. But he knows the secret of the 50 blessings. So they start a riot to have him killed. Him and Jacket killed, but he survives and he escapes. But Jacket doesn't get involved. He just stays in prison. You don't play as him at all, right? I don't think so.
No.
And later on, he calls the writer and informs him on all the stuff. And he says, all I want is a plane ticket for my mom to come to Hawaii with me so I can take care of her. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. And yeah, the only real choice that you get at the end of the game is for the writer, Evan Wright, is you can choose whether to continue the writing the story or get your family back. I don't know if you found that. Like, there's a point. There's a point in the story where you have all the information. You get the phone call. You can either go to your computer office and work on it, or you can pick up the phone and get your family back. So
did not know that was a choice. I just picked up the phone.
But I don't think it matters because everybody gets nuked at the end.
Gets fucking nuked at the end. Yeah, essentially there's a news thing that happens that finally, like, the Russian president, American president both got assassinated by what I assume is the patriotic dudes.
Yeah.
And then Russia nukes pretty much every character specifically the character. No.
Yeah.
But it, pretty much ends with everything getting nuked.
So supposedly your commanding officer from the past is the one who founded the 50 things. And started all this bullshit. And in the end, they got everybody nuked. So really, as violent as this game is, it's really an anti-violence message. Because like at every point, everybody gets fucked over because they're so violent.
Yeah. And I guess the violence can segue into gameplay.
Go ahead.
So Hotline Miami 1, I played it 10 plus years ago. On my PlayStation Vita. and I loved it. I had I enjoyed the shit out of it. So much so that like Halloween one year I went as Jacket. So there was that. Pretty much like we said earlier, the gameplay when it like the loop And the reason why, I think a lot of people like it, aside from, all the, it's got like the style and all that kind of stuff too. But like the gameplay itself, once you nail it, it just feels like really, really cool.
Right.
When you go into a room and once again, just like fucking John Wick the place up. That's pretty badass.
Oh, and you can use doors to knock people out also.
What? You can use doors. Yeah, that's a very big thing. Like you will wait for them to walk right by the door, then bust in, knock a dude on his ass, and it's like it's very good. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool and it's fun. It's so in the first game, and I found this out through you, was how what's the word I'm looking for? That the first one was melee centric.
Yeah.
Which then leads us into 2,
which
Steam community. Take it away.
Okay, so during the no clip interview, they were telling like the different inspirations for the game. So the first one, they were like really happy with the melee type of it. It was really melee centric. Even though you could pick up guns, it was like
there
cool.
are definitely a lot more guns towards, or dudes with guns towards the end.
Yeah, because it's harder. Their idea for number 2, well, first of all, it'll start as DLC, not even a whole game, but the game got so big that they just made another
they made a sequel,
which came out in 2015 March.
I don't know.
Hold up. Does my memory serve me correctly? March 10th, 2015.
Nice.
All right. I'm not losing my memory. All right.
He's going senile.
Hey man, that's scary. It's scary.
True.
All right. So they were like, okay, let's make a gun centric one. And they were making it for the people who were fans of number 1. They weren't making it with the idea of new people starting out on number 2, right? So they wanted the difficulty to be like a natural progression from 1 to 2. So they didn't want it to be like you're starting from a fresh game over, right? A lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people were bent out of shape. Were like, this game is too fucking hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's I understand that. There's no reason if I can have to scream about it though.
Yeah.
But
I just recently learned about all that because I didn't play it when it came out. I played it when both games were already out, and I think I played them on PlayStation 4 or something. I played 1 and then 2 right after, and I was like, yo, that is the best game ever.
So you did it the way God intended.
Yes, I did it the way God intended.
Because like for me, it's a 10-year gap. Like I'm pretty sure I played in 2014, the first one, 2013, 2014, and then I played the second one a couple days ago. So there's that.
Yeah, for the first time, because
for the first time,
like even then, I do remember that game being significantly harder than the other one. So them being so active with their community, like on Steam, the forums and all that, when they released number 2, the internet hate was too unbearable that they just like, I'm getting off the fucking internet. This is crazy. They're getting like death threats. They're getting all this shit about number 2, and they're like, holy shit. Which is
goddamn, you make a game hard and people want to kill you because of it.
Yeah.
Though I mean, I'll be honest, there are moments in that game where I don't want to kill anybody, but I definitely wanted to just like stop playing. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, it sucks, I don't know if it was I don't know if it's the amount of time that the games took place in. It was like 2012 then to 2015. Was it that they're a new developer, so it's cool that people are talking to them? Or is it because in 2012 people weren't insane, and as we progressively get to now, people are more insane?
No, I don't think that changed. I think it's just that like it's the internet, and if you do a thing people don't like for some odd reason, it's like, I mean, execution worthy. Like it could be, like we, on and off talk about this in our FistTruck TV videos. No, we'll like have a conversation about it, and it's just like, yeah, it's crazy, especially like, sometimes in my case where I might, from time to time have a hot take, on in one of my videos or something, and someone will comment, like, for example, let's see. I think I could be wrong, but there's like a comment. I had like a tier list for the video, for the weapon video, the ranking the weapons in Elden Ring.
Right.
And I don't know if it was that video or another one. Someone just said "fuck you" in the comment, and I'm like, damn. I'm just saying, that says a lot more about you than it does about me. Just saying.
Just the amount of balls. Not even balls. I mean, no, because it's anonymous.
No,
so
man,
you don't
it's
need
just
any
how
balls.
fucking like maladjusted weirdos that fucking. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna just say that shit. But it's just people who like don't know how to talk to people, and people who will happily say whatever they want behind the veil of the internet.
Yeah.
When if I saw that person in person, I guarantee you, and I like, hey, you're the guy that said fuck you. They'd be like, oh man, it was just a joke. It's just like, yeah, yeah. Like that kind of shit. And like that's just like me and my little bubble. I guess that, in their case where you had a popular enough, I assume, game.
Yeah.
And you release a sequel to it, and just inherently, I think it was definitely foolish on their part to not think like, oh, hey, we're gonna get new people. Just like, I think every other game under the sun, usually the sequel probably sells more than the first one does. Not every game, but very frequently. So I think it was very foolish to not assume that there'd be brand new people coming to this one.
Well, they're also like, this is their second game. That's their second game, right?
Yeah. No, obviously. But I think obviously hindsight being 2020, it wasn't the best call. So, but then obviously I also think it goes without saying that getting so bent out of shape because the game's too hard is like,
yeah, you're whack. You're whack.
You're whack. You're whack.
Yeah.
You are very whack. So, I will say after having played it, I get it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Especially because in my case, it's a 10-year gap. So it's like, I vaguely remember playing the first one, but it's been so long that I might as well have been fresh. Yeah, it's like the game immediately starts with throwing a bunch of dudes with guns at you. And they like doing the trick of like a guy with a gun just always slightly out of view.
Yeah.
So you're there, you clear a room or it's something like that, and all of a sudden, boom, shot from down the hall, and you're like,
yeah, bullets off screen just take you out.
That is a very common occurrence.
Yeah. Even in one, it happens like when you're in a long corridor and you can't get the view far enough. It's like if you have a direct line of sight towards an enemy, they can see you.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, Hotline Miami 2
actually it's arbitrary if they see you or not. Now that I think of it, it's like you don't know if they're going to see you or not, so you just assume they can see you.
Yeah, as long as you're in like a certain range, I guess. But the thing in Hotline Miami 2 is that like that immediately starts happening from the start, and you're like, what the fuck? And the thing in Hotline Miami 2, I guess like getting on more of a how do I want to structure this? So you can play as there are a bunch of different characters you play as we talked about through the story. Each of them has their own gimmick for the most part. So like there's the zebra guy, he could do a dodge roll that I think is borderline useless, but like every now and then it helps. That's what the zebra guy could do that. The God, I think it was there's Tony. He punches, his punches kill, but he can't use weapons. There's the ducks, the bear. I forgot what the bear does. Oh, his throws fuck shit. Like he has deadly throws. So if you throw a weapon at someone, it can kill them. The ducks, there are two of them. One has a chainsaw. One will always have a gun.
Right.
As long as he can pick up another gun when it's empty. So like that, they're probably like the easiest ones to play as, I would say. But it's cool. Then you have, I could be missing another animal, but Then you have the writer guy. He doesn't kill.
Right.
So he can't pick up guns or bladed weapons. So you pretty much always knock people out. You'll like walk around with a golf club or a pipe or something. You do that. Who else? You have the army guy. I hate him. I fucking hate him. Like his gimmick is that right before you start a level, there's a table with guns on it, and you pick up the gun, and that's the gun you use for the level. If you hit the button, like the L1 or R1 button, I forget which one, he switches to a knife or a machete or whatever.
Okay.
The gun has limited ammo, and you can find ammo pickups only when you run out of bullets. You cannot pick up ammo if you have anything above 0.
Okay, that's annoying.
So what the thing is that it kind of incentivizes that if I'm about to end a level and an area, and I have to move on to the next area, and I have 5 bullets, I just start fucking shooting the air and then go pick up 10 bullets. Because when you pick up ammo, it doesn't refill you to full; it refills you to like a quarter or something, and you can't refill past that. So. And the thing is that you're killing a bunch of Russian soldiers, guys, that are all dropping fucking guns on the floor, and your guy doesn't pick them up. You cannot drop your gun. At least as far as I know. I could be fucking signing up and playing on, like stupid, like unwillingly or unknowingly stupid hard mode.
Yeah,
because I just didn't know.
I completely forgot that that's a thing.
Like, I don't know if I missed something there. I could have missed something, but I'm just saying my experience, and that's it. So he doesn't pick up the guns on the ground, so you're forced to ration out the ammo for your gun for like some reason. I don't get what, like, would anyone that, just out of curiosity, is someone that was actually going on a one-man mission to kill like 100 dudes, would he not pick up the fucking perfectly good guns on the ground?
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't make sense. I don't get how you're some kind of like highly trained soldier but refuse to use the resources in your environment. Like
that's a Tony question. Phone a friend. That's Tony question. Phone a friend.
Oh yeah. So that was the most annoying thing. And the thing is that there's such a heavy reliance on guys with guns, and since you die in like one hit 99% of the time,
right?
You play, like, compared to how Hotline Miami 1 goes. And even Hotline Miami 1 kind of turns into this once you start running into more guys with guns. In Hotline Miami 2, it like rewards and incentivizes you being a big old pussy. Which is like completely antithetical to being the badass that busts into a room and fucking does all sorts of crazy shit and kills someone or kills people.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just like, especially there were 2 times where this was like a self-own, like I did this to myself, where I decided to play as Tony on a level where it was an option to do so. And then on the last level with the Russian boss guy, you can select the weapons for him to use. And I picked the brass knuckles, which is the same thing as Tony, where you can only punch and not pick up weapons.
Right.
That was torture. I should not have done that. But I hate that it's an option in the first place. When everyone has a gun. So it's like that last level was me going through doorways, because essentially what you would do is go through a doorway, then back up real quick, and hopefully you don't get stuck on one of the walls, so that everyone in the room sees that you came in, and then they start running out, and then you're just waiting by the door frame going like that over and over again, like it's a Rock'em Sock'em robot or some shit. That's the big problem with Hotline Miami 2, is that like every now and then you have moments that are super cool. But I feel like overall, I would not use the word fun to describe the time I had with that game. Personally, It was a lot more frustrating than fun. And like at least when it came to the knowledge from Hotline Miami 1, eventually came back to me. Or like, okay, I remember this is how you do some shit. But like, even once I feel like I kind of solve things, unless I miss the point once again. It mostly just evolved into me just kind of trying to like go to enemies to come out of a room, so I could just like, because they'll funnel in one by one as you just gun them down or punch them or whatever it is, and that's not the same thing as bursting into a room and fucking doing stuff.
I definitely at the police station in number 1. That's what I was doing.
That it turned into that. Yeah. Yeah. But that was like, thankfully, at least towards the end. In Hotline Miami 2, it's from start to finish. In fact, it's from start and only gets worse. Yeah. So it's that's the problem with 2.
I don't know. I would need to play it again. It's like Don't Meet Your Heroes. Because again, looking at just learning about how the launch was, how it was viewed, how it was perceived.
I mean, I wouldn't tell the guys to go kill themselves because they
no, but you understand that
hard. Fuck you.
It was hard. It was hard, and a lot of people found it too hard. I was like, that's not how I remember it. Like that wasn't my experience.
Yeah,
but
the thing
also,
is that it's like
it's probably because I'm. I remember the good stuff and block out the bad stuff.
Yeah, because the thing is that like I'm down for hard games, but that's not a good hard. That's like, it always reminds me, like my benchmark for playing games on a hard difficulty and it being an abysmal, terrible time is Call of Duty games. Call of Duty 2 is always like easily the hardest one that I play. Like Call of Duty 2, not like Modern Warfare 2 or anything like that, just 2. Playing that game on any other difficulty. I'll say any other one. Like you stop and pop, to shoot guys, that kind of stuff.
You're kind of like moving forward.
Yeah, you're maneuvering around the battlefield, but it's very much stop and pop kind of game.
Yeah.
On Veteran, you find the one spot in the room where the grenades won't get to you. And you just stay there prone the whole time and just be like, meh, meh. And then every now and then one of them just decides that they don't like you anymore, and they just kill you anyway when they otherwise normally wouldn't. That was Veteran, Call of Duty 2 on Veteran, and like high school me tolerated that bullshit. No way in hell I would do that nowadays.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of difficulty that this reminds me of, where like on the hardest difficulty, or not the hardest difficulty, but just this game's difficulty, because I didn't touch hard mode. Difficulty, it kind of like it gets you to play in a way that I feel is antithetical to the way the game should be played. And when the game, like in its best form, Hotline Miami in its best form is not what Hotline Miami 2 encourages you to do, and it's the way it's designed. At least that's the way I feel. Yeah. So like the thing is that like Hotline Miami, and probably why you can remember the good stuff is because like it pretty much has everything else going for it.
Oh yeah.
Like once, even when I was playing Hotline Miami 2, I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this story? But then by the end, I was like, actually invested. Like it was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it. And then obviously has the aesthetic, like the style,
snappy
all that kind of stuff. And the
gameplay,
soundtrack is fucking like
amazing,
top notch. Like there's
when you got to the one song, when you got to the roller roller
man,
mob.
If it weren't for the fact that level wanted me to throw my controller through the fucking TV, I would have been having a better time. Because when the song started, they're just like, and they specifically have it so that the song, like, starts, like the fucking drop happens, it's like right once you start being able to play, except what happens is that you go bang and you're dead. And it's just like, it's such a fucking like if there was a moment where they probably should have dialed it back just to let you have a bit of a power trip because the song's so bitchin', that was probably it. Like in Doom Eternal, right? So BFG Division was probably like the best song from Doom 2016.
Right.
Doom Eternal, they bring that song back once. It's when you go back to your ship, the Fortress of Doom or whatever, and there are enemies in there. And for a moment, it just goes like, and like the song starts up, you're like, ah! But that fight is really easy. It's just a bunch of like cannon fodder demons they throw at you. But for a moment, you just get to like foam at the mouth, fucking rip demons in half and shoot them. Cause it's just like a moment of catharsis.
Yeah.
Cause right before this, you had to, sweat your ass off in a level. And in this game, they could have done that thing. But instead you get blah, 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 and then a bullet in the head like 7 times in a fucking row. It's just like last episode, or we had a talk about this in one of the FistTruck TV videos, where the Sea of Stars episode, I know at least definitely myself, were probably a bit more negative than I should have been, considering that I think that's a great game.
Right.
Fuck that this time. That game pissed me the fuck off from start to finish practically. I'm just going to there were a couple of moments where like It was that level, actually. Play as a zebra guy. The moment it started off as a zebra guy, there are two dudes with knives. Walk into the room, fucking like snuff a dude. He drops a knife. I pick up the knife. I throw it at the other guy. He fucking catches a knife to the head, dies. I fucking kill the dude on the ground, pick up the other guy's knife, open the room, throw a knife at a dude with a gun, and then run back and wait for the other guy to start chasing me. Like all the momentum dies after that. It's like for a moment in that specific bit, I remember that part vividly because it's just like once I got into the motions of doing that part, I was just like, this is awesome. But then like very quickly afterwards, it's just like, you know, back to earth. You have to fucking like keep, you know, putting the tip out there just for them to be like, oh, there he is. Yeah. that's like that's my fucking TED talk about
and the developers, you know, they understand the outcry, and they, you know, they realize where they messed up, and we're like, yeah, we, you know, if we could go back and do that again, you know, we would do it differently. So it's not like, you know, they're
I would like to see. Have they done anything since Hotline Miami 2? Damn.
Not that I've seen.
Damn, that sucks. Because like the thing is that the
well, they could like again, it's like, you know, they made a company out of both of their names, but you know the guy has been making games since long before they ever met. So I don't know if maybe they're under a different name or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm like the thing with the, you know, it doesn't have to be a Hotline Miami 3 because I think 2 pretty much wrapped that shit up.
No, 2's finished. It's all complete.
But like in terms of just like the fundamentals of it, like the gameplay is awesome when it wants to be, and like, you know, it's to like I feel like you could keep pushing that further, but you know.
The last
that's my TED talk on Hotline Miami 2. Yeah. That's basically it.
Yeah.
What's up?
I mean, you know, they're short games. The concept is simple enough, but it's like also they're it's one of those games where it's like first of their kind, right? Like it looks like other games, but it really it's
no, there's nothing like it.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it, except for the first-person door kicker game that our friend mentioned that's coming out.
Oh, fucking Angerfoot, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it and it's just like, I don't know.
I'll wait till it comes out.
Yeah, wait until it comes out. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Must be important.
It's probably not.
It's not. Well, I think that's the gist of it. I mean, I would definitely recommend Hotline Miami 1.
Yeah.
At least based on my memories.
Based on my memories.
Yeah. And watching you play it for the most part is just like Hotline Miami 1, good recommend. Maybe if you feel like after playing that you want more of it, then you gotta try Hotline Miami 2. Maybe your experience will differ. It'll be the way that God intended.
At the very least, listen to the Hotline Miami 2 soundtrack. Like
it's so good. It's so like I heard it before I played the game. And I didn't know I heard it before I played the game. I just because they have like one of the artists on the soundtrack is called Carpenter Brute or something like that. Yeah. And I've heard a bunch of that guy's shit. And so it was a Roller Mobster that I heard that song actually that song is on my what's the name of that fucking shitty mobile game? My Raid Shadow Legends video. That song's in the background. And so I've heard it like a few years ago, and I was like, oh damn, this song's bitching. And then come to find out it's in this game soundtrack. I'm like, oh yo, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, simple enough.
Yeah.
Again, recommend number 1. Number 2, play at your own risk. You know, I guess be aware that you don't have to finish a game.
Yeah. I mean, I played through it because we're doing this. Yeah, obviously.
And I played through it because I thought it was fun. At least I thought I remembered it being fun.
I mean, it could be fun. I can see someone enjoying this, but that someone ain't me. That's all. You know, like if I went and picked this up on my own volition like a couple of months ago, I probably would not have finished it.
Where can they find you?
Here in FistTruck and FistTruck TV.
Fantastic. You can find me here and on FistTruck TV.
On behalf of Michael 10. No.
Oh yeah, Michael 10. Oh fucking hell. And you can find Tony at HeyyyTony at on twitch.tv.
Hey is spelled with 5 Y's.
5 Y's. Hey, 5Y Tony. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.